Islam. It is August the 8th, 2018. And first, I'll be reading the Circle 7 Quran. Circle 7 Quran, chapter, I believe, 38 was my last chapter. No, chapter 37. Alright, holy instructions from the Prophet, the breath of heaven. Taint not thy body, because it was first formed, nor thy brain, because therein thy soul resideth. Is not the master of the house more? Oh wait, no, I already read this. Chapter 38, the soul of man. No, I read that too. My apologies. Chapter 39. Only instructions from the Prophet, pinnacle of wisdom. Okay, yes, definitely here. As the eye of the morning to the lark, as the shade of the evening to the owl, as honey to the bee, or as the carcass to the vulture, even such is life unto the heart of man. Though bright, it dazzleth not; though obscure, it displeaseth not; though sweet, it cloyeth not; though corrupt, it forbiddeth not. Yet who is he that knoweth its true value? Learn to esteem as thou ought, then art thou near the pinnacle of wisdom. Think not with the fool that nothing is more valuable, nor believe with the pretended wise that thou oughtest to condemn it. Love it not thyself, but for the good it may be of to others. Gold cannot buy it for thee, neither mines of diamonds purchase back the moment thou hast now lost it. Employ the succeeding ones in virtue. Say not that it were best to have been born, or if born, that it has been best to die early. Neither dare thou to ask thy Creator, where has been the evil, had I not existed? Good is thy power, the want of good is evil. In thy question be just, lo it condemneth thee. Would the fish swallow the bait, if he knew the hook were hidden therein? Would the lion enter the toils, if he saw they were prepared for him? So neither were the soul to perish with this clay, neither would a merciful Father have created him. No hence thou shalt live afterwards. As the bird enclosed in the cage before he seeth it, yet teareth not his wings against the sides, so neither labor thou vainly to run the state thou art in, but know it is allotted thee, and the content with it. Though its ways are uneven, yet they are not all painful. Accommodate thyself to all, and where there is least appearance of evil, suspect the greatest danger. When thy bed is straw, thou sleepest in security. But when thou stretch thyself on roses, beware of the thorns. A good death is better than an evil life. Strive, therefore, to live as long as thou oughtest, not so long as thou canst. While thy life is to others more worth than thy death, it is thy duty to preserve it. Complain not with the fool of the shortness of thy time. Remember, with thy days the cares are shortened. Take from the period of thy life the useless part of it, and what remaineth. Take off the time of thine infancy, thy second infancy of age, thy sleep, thy thoughtless hours, thy days of sickness, and even at thy fullness of years. How few seasons hast thou truly numbered? He who gave thee as a blessing shortened it to make it more so. To what end would longer life have served thee? Wishest thou to have had an opportunity of more vices? As to the good will not. He who limited thy span be satisfied with the fruits of it. To what end, O child of sorrow, wouldst thou live longer? To breathe, to eat, to see the world? All this thou hast done often already. Too frequent repetition, is it not tiresome? Or is it not superfluous? Wouldst thou improve thy wisdom and thy virtue? Alas, what art thou to know? For who is it that shall teach thou? Badly thou employest the little thou hast. Dare not, therefore, to complain that the more is not given thee. Repine not at thy want of knowledge. It must perish within the grave. Be honest here. Thou shalt be wiser hereafter. Say not unto the crow, why numberest thou 7 times thy Lord? Or to the fawn, why art thine eyes to see my offspring in 100 generations? Are these to be compared with thee in the abuse of life? Are they riotous? Are they cruel? Are they ungrateful? Learn from them, rather, that innocence of manners are the paths of good old age. Knowest thou to employ life better than these? Then less of it may suffice thee. Man who dares enslave the world, when he knows he can enjoy his tyranny but for a moment, what would he not aim at, if he were immortal? Enough hast thou of life, but thou regardest it not. Thou art not in want of it, O man, but thou art prodigal. Thou threwest it lightly away, as if thou hadst more than enough, and yet thou repinest that it is not gathered again unto thee. Know that it is not abundance which maketh rich, but economy. The wise continueth to live from his first period. The fool is always beginning. Labor not after riches first, and think thou wilt and afterwards enjoy them. He who neglecteth the present moment throweth away all that he hath. As the arrow passeth through the heart, while the warrior knew not that it was coming, so shall his life be taken away, for he knoweth that he hath it. What then is life, that man should desire it? What breathing, that he should covet it? Is it not a scene of delusion, a series of misadventures, a pursuit of evils, linked on all sides together? In the beginning it is ignorance. Pain is in its middle, and its end is sorrow. As one wave pusheth on another, till both are involved, and that behind them, even so succeedeth evil to evil. In the life of man, the greater in the present swallow up the lesser in the past. Our terrors are real evils. Our expectations look forward into impossibilities. Fools, to dread as mortals, and to desire as if immortal. What part of life is that we should wish to remain with us? Is it youth? Can we be in love with outrage, licentiousness, and temerity? Is it age? Then we are fond of infirmities. It is said gray hairs are revered, and length of days is honored. Virtue can add reverence to the bloom of youth, and without it, age plants more wrinkles in the soul than one on the forehead. Is age respected, because it hateth riot? What justice is it? What justice is in this, when it is not age that despiseth pleasure, but pleasure that despiseth age? But virtuous while thou art young. Be virtuous while thou art young, so shall thine age be honored. Islam. Let's see. I think I have enough time to read Moorish literature, and maybe one other thing. Alright. I'll be reading Moorish literature. Think this over, you Moors. All sheiks, grand sheiks, must prepare for the Prophet before he comes to visit them, must see to it that all is clean and in perfection as far as comfort is possible, or otherwise don't arrange to have its presence. All members must pay from 25 cents to 50 cents weekly towards the emergency fund. This fund will increase so that it will soon amount to a grand sum of 1,000. That is if you are loyal Moors. The emergency fund goes into the bank. The treasurer will tend to the responsibility of seeing that the money is in the bank. Yes, and under the name of the Moor Science Temple of America Finance. When needed, act according to the law pertaining to the procedure of performing an emergency act. No head of any said temple is to borrow from any member more than $5 to $10 unless by notification of the prophet. The necessity there we go, for the loan. When any said temple desires to purchase property, they must first notify the grand body or the prophet, and it must be purchased under the name of the Moorish Science Temple of America or Noble Drew Ali. An individual name must never be implied. I, Noble Drew Ali, am responsible for all finance, so therefore let I, the prophet, know what is on me. Some of you have slipped and slipped drastically, so you had better lace up your shoes before I get there. Everything, every business transaction, or anything pertaining to finance is to be transacted in the name of the Moorish Science Temple of America, or Noble Drew Ali. We Moors must maintain a grand treasurer, just as in the days of our forefathers. Then you are a nation. Until then, you are nothing. The emergency fund. The emergency fund is issued by no book, but by an emergency card, punched according to contribution, then marked on book. That is the law, and the law must live. The government is behind me, and I must get behind you, for I must uphold and enforce the law. My mission is to save you, Moors. The heads of all temples, grand sheikhs, grand sheikhs, must conform to the divine principles: love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. They must live the life among the members and be loved even as the prophet is loved. They must not practice the principle of segregation among any group in his or her temple. Let it be he or she that is head of any temple of the Moorish Science Temple of America, that if there should come any grievance that cannot be settled by the head, notify the prophet at once. No members to attend the adept chamber that has not lived a moral and clean life, has not paid his or her dues or assessments, providing that he or she is working or able, cannot consider himself a Moor. But traitors must be excluded from the books after having fair trial by the head of their temple, and that must be sent into the grand body. And all members that are able and fail to act are not Moors, but traitors to their cause, and trust in their nation, and are not allowed to share all the Moorish honors. And the penalty is, it is embezzlement of the faith of our creed. All heads of all temples must observe these laws. Next I'll read Divine Warning by the Prophet, Noble Drew Ali. I hereby inform all members that they must end all radical agitating speeches while at work, in their homes, or on the streets. We are for peace and not destruction. Stop flashing your cards at Europeans. It causes confusion. Remember, your card is for your salvation. Failure to obey these orders will be of severe consequence. We are for love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. And when these principles are violated, justice must then take its course. Any member or group of members who hold malicious feelings towards the prophet, or towards the temple or the prophet, or violate the divine covenant of the Moorish movement will receive their reward from Allah for their unjust deeds. All true Moors will and must obey the law as laid down to them by their prophet. If they lose confidence in their prophet, they should turn in their card and button, cease wearing their turban and fez, and return to the state where I, the prophet, found you. This is a holy and divine movement founded by Prophet Noble Drew Ali, and if the prophet is not right, the temple is not right. The prophet therefore is sending out the divine plea to all Moorish Americans that they do their part in protecting their prophet and the temple. This is an everlasting movement, founded by the prophet through the will of Allah, to redeem his people from their sinful ways. By order of Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Do I have enough time? Let's see if I can read one more. That's all for Moorish literature. And lastly, I'll read the Fatiha, because I just don't have enough time right now to do my reading in the Holy Quran of Mecca. But at least I want to read the Fatiha. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. Praise be to Allah, the Lord of the worlds, the Beneficent, the Merciful, Master of the Day of Requital. Thee do we serve, and thee do we beseech for help. Guide us on the right path, the path of those upon whom thou hast bestowed favors, not those upon whom wrath is brought down, nor those who go astray. Islam. And again, today is August 8th, 2018.